Today's date is May 15, 2020. The time is 10:05 a.m. This is the oral deposition of Sonia Galvan in cause number 2018 DCL 06387I. Richard Galvan and Sonia Galvan versus Blaine Cruz and Hannah Cruz, filed in the 445th District Court of Camden County, Texas, and it is being conducted remotely in accordance with the first emergency order regarding the COVID-19 state of disaster, paragraphs 2B and C. The witness is located at G5 Internet Service, located at 222 East Van Buren, Suite 502, Harlingen, Texas. My name is Kathy Rimmer, court reporter, Texas CSR number 519. I am administering the oath and reporting the deposition remotely by stenographic means from my residence within the state of Texas. My business address is 16414 San Pedro, Suite 900, San Antonio, Texas. The witness has been identified to me through attestation of counsel. Would counsel please state their appearances and locations for the record, beginning with counsel for the plaintiff?
Yes, I'm Davis Chapman, counsel for the defendants. I'm sorry, I've jumped in there because I was first on the thing. Counsel for the defendants, Blaine and Hannah Cruz. I'm in Fort Worth, Texas.
Angela Nix, counsel for plaintiffs, Galvans, out of Brownsville, Texas. Mr. Chapman, two small housekeeping matters for the record before we begin.
Sure.
Because defendant Blaine Cruz is purportedly attending this deposition, but it has video blanked and audio blanked, I feel compelled to put on the record and request reassurance that there is no separate audio or video recording of this depositions being made.
There's none.
By the Cruzes.
There's none.
And because that, of course, or posting of any such on any website or blog would be sanctionable. Thank you. Also, Mr.
I disagree with the idea that something would be sanctionable, but we're not going to short out our videographer that we agreed to pay by having a separate recording that would obviously be of lower quality. So we are not recording this. Mr. Cruz is not recording it. I'm not recording it in any fashion other than what I've requested through the official court reporter, and will be made available as an official record in this case.
I appreciate that. And the second issue that I wanted just to clarify, you did say that you would be sending yesterday's exhibits, but I have not received those. But Ms. Rimmer said something about you might be sending them at the conclusion of this depo.
Okay, hold on a second. I sent them. I just forwarded them to Ms. Rimmer via email, and I believe I meant to include you on that. I apologize. Let me get that done. So you should get what address should I forward them to? There we are. Angela Nix, attorney at Gmail. Or Gloria Castillo.
It's Ann Nix, attorney at Gmail.
I've got it.
That would be fine. Thank you.
All right, here we go.
And that was all, Mr. Chapman. I appreciate the moment. Thank you.
Okay. While we're talking about the exhibits, Ms. Nix, let me just get out of their agreements for you. I had 15 exhibits from yesterday. I'm not going to renumber those exhibits for today. I'm only going to add 2, so we'll have a consecutive set of exhibits for both parties.
No objection.
All right, and you just got an email, and I sent it to Gloria as well with the zip drive with 1 through 15. Ms. Rimmer, did you get that on your email?
Yes, I just got it.
Okay. All right. Let's get started. Could you say?
Okay. Let me swear the witness in, please.
Oh, sorry, we didn't do that.
That's all right. Would you raise your right hand, please, ma'am? Do you swear or affirm the testimony which you will give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes, I do.
Thank you. You may proceed.
Okay. Could you state your name for the record, ma'am? I'm having a very hard time hearing your answer.
Speak up.
Sonia Galvan.
Yeah.
There we go. I was concerned. I will tell you, Ms. Galvan, I had a mediation myself with, and my clients were together in a room last week, and they had a very directional microphone, and they kind of had to switch chairs every time one of them wanted to talk to the mediator. It was very confusing. Anyways, I can hear your last answer. Miss Galvan, you were present for the deposition of your husband, Richard Galvan, yesterday. Is that correct?
That's correct.
I understand you may have left to go get some food at some point around the lunch hour. Were you present for the rest of it as far as you recall?
Yes.
Okay. All right. I think because of that, we should be able to go a bit quicker on some of this stuff, and I'll try to be as conservative as I can with your time. And I know that you probably recall some of the things I said at the beginning of the depo yesterday to your husband, but let's get these on the record just so we know the ground rules. What's your full name, ma'am? Did you give me your middle name?
Garza, my maiden name.
Thank you. All right. We're conducting this via Zoom as allowed by the current Supreme Court emergency orders. And this is just as if we were in a conference room with the reporter right next to you and you at the end of a conference table and me talking to you in person. You are under oath, just as you would be if you were sworn in front of a judge and jury at the courthouse. And your testimony, subject certainly to rulings on counsel's objections, if there are any, may be used at any trial or proceeding in this case as if it was given live in the courthouse. I'm going to ask you questions, and then you answer the question I have out there as best you can. If you don't understand the question, please feel free to tell me that you don't understand the question. I'll try to rephrase and clarify the best that I can. If you need to take a break at any time, just let me know. I'm just going to ask that you answer the question that's out there on the record before you do. Likewise, actually, in addition to that, Mr. Galvan, I don't think did this at all yesterday, but I'll say it just in case. Answers that sound like and sound the same to the court reporter when she's trying to type it. So try to use yes or no. I know we're videoing this, but head nods don't come off on a transcript very good. So try to give me a oral response. Sometime it only happened maybe once or twice that I recall yesterday, but it may be that the audio hangs up or the video freezes or something like that and you don't hear my question. Just let me know if that's the case and I'll repeat it louder and slower or again, and hopefully the systems that we're using will all allow you to hear it clearly. If I don't hear that kind of thing from you, I'm going to presume that you've heard my question. And if you don't ask me to rephrase it, I'm going to presume that you understand it. Is that fair?
Yes, it is.
Okay. Very good. Ms. Galvan, what documents have you reviewed in preparation for your deposition here this morning?
I reviewed the what are these called? My answers to the I'm sorry.
Oh, I'm not trying to trick you. If I call it written discovery, will you understand what I'm talking about?
Yes, that. Yes.
I sent you some interrogatories, some requests for production, and some requests for admissions as your testimony this morning that you reviewed those in preparation for your testimony.
Yes, I did.
Okay. Did you review any of the pleadings in this case?
Yes, I did.
Okay. Did you review your affidavits that have been filed in this case?
Yes, I did.
Okay. Have you reviewed any of the additional motions that have been filed by the attorneys in this case?
No.
Okay. Did you review any of the documents from the Court of Appeals?
No, I did not.
Okay. Have you reviewed any journals or notes that you've kept to refresh your recollection in matters you expect to testify about today?
Can you clarify notes?
Yeah, if you've kept any journals or anything and you use that to prepare for your deposition, I just want to know what you looked at.
I don't have any now.
Okay. Very good. Did you have any conversations with anybody in preparation for your deposition today?
Objection form insofar as they would be any conversations with me.
Sure. Let me be clear, and I did this with Richard probably right off the gate. Throughout the duration of this deposition, I don't want you to think that I'm asking you about anything that you talked about with any of your lawyers. That's privileged, and I don't want to ask about that. I will try to carve that out as best I can in my questioning. But for purposes of answering my questions, conversations you've had with your lawyers, past or present, are not something that you need to offer to me in your responses. Having said that, did you talk with anybody in order to help prepare for your deposition today, other than your lawyer?
No.
Did you meet with Miss Nix and help prepare you for your deposition today?
No. Well, yes.
Okay. Can you tell me, as best you can recall, how much time you spent preparing for your deposition?
I don't know. Maybe about an hour or so.
Okay. Very good. Can you give me for purposes of identifications and with the same agreements that these will not be used in any filed document or published anywhere, Miss Nix, that we had with Mr. Galvan yesterday. Mr. Galvan, could you give me your Texas driver's license number? If you know it.
I don't have it with me.
Okay. Do you know your social? Do you know your social?
We need to provide the Texas driver's license number and the last 3 digits of the social.
Okay. Thank you. I believe, Miss Galvan, you said your middle name was Garcia, and that was your maiden name. Is that correct?
It's Garza.
Oh, Garza. I'm so sorry. I apologize. Garza. Have you so you at some point you went by Garza as your last name, correct? Have you gone by any other names in your lifetime?
No.
Okay. What's your date of birth, ma'am?
9/30/73.
And let's get a bit of background about you. Where did you grow up, Miss Galvan?
The majority of my life here in Harlingen.
Okay. Did you go to primary school and secondary school in Harlingen?
Yes.
Did you graduate from high school in Harlingen?
Yes, I did.
What high school did you go to?
Harlingen High School.
Okay. What year did you get out?
91.
Okay. And your current residence is on Sparrow Drive or Sparrow Road?
That's correct.
Okay. How long have you lived there?
Since 2002 or I think 2002.
Okay. Following your graduation from Harlingen High School, did you go to college or pursue any education past high school?
I did. I went to a school in East Texas for about 1.5 years, came home, and then I finally finished at UTSA, the University of Texas at San Antonio, in 97.
Okay. So you have a degree from UTSA from 1997?
That's correct.
Okay. Where did you go in East Texas?
Kilgore.
I'm sorry, what was that?
Kilgore Junior College.
Oh, okay. Were you a rangerette?
I was not.
Okay. That's what everybody thinks about with those East Texas schools, the SFA and Kilgore, and is there one in Lufkin as well? I forget.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. In 97, when you graduated UTSA, what was your degree in?
Business management.
Did you pursue any, that's a BBA, I take it, right?
That's correct.
Did you pursue any postgraduate work after you got your BBA?
I went to mortuary school.
Okay. Where did you go for that?
Commonwealth in Houston.
How long does that take? I do not know.
6 months.
Okay. After you got out of mortuary school, did you go to work in that industry?
I sure did.
Okay. Where did you go to work?
At Rudy Garza Funeral Home.
Where is that?
That's here in Harlingen.
Okay. When did you start it? Is that a business that might be owned by your family?
It sure is.
Okay, very good. When did you start back at the family funeral home?
In 98.
98. And what was your job there?
Funeral director.
And how long did you work as a funeral director for the Garza Funeral Home?
Till about full time, till about maybe till about 2009, 8 to 9.
Okay. And did you end up taking a different job after 2009 when you left the funeral home?
I stayed home and worked part-time.
Okay. When you worked part-time, were you working for some of the businesses that your husband had started, or you and your husband had started?
That's correct.
What was the first one that you started working for when strike that. Let me ask a better question. When did you start working for the businesses that y'all had started? Were you still working at the funeral home and doing that part-time as well?
Oh yeah, I was working part-time. So really I first started in about 2000, I think it was 7.
2007. And would that have been for MDI?
That's correct.
What did you do for MDI?
Accounts payable, accounts receivables, invoicing.
Okay. And how long did you continue to do that for MDI?
I really don't know.
Okay. If MDI needed accounts payable or receivable work right now, would that be something you'd probably take on, or was there somebody else that would handle that now?
No, I don't do that.
Okay. My understanding is now MDI doesn't have any active business, but holds a piece of real property and receives the rent from this property on, I think, Vogel Street. Is that your understanding as well?
That's correct.
Okay. Do you handle whatever bookkeeping needs to be done with those transactions and the maintenance of that real property?
No, I don't.
Okay. Do you know who does?
No, I don't.
Okay. You a 50% owner of MDI?
I am.
Okay. Very good. Did you do work for Orbit Broadband when that was started?
Yes, I did.
Okay. Did you do work for Orbit Broadband from the time that it was started?
I don't recall.
Okay. Were you a 50% owner of Orbit Broadband as well?
I don't recall.
Okay. What did you do for Orbit Broadband?
Same thing, accounts payable, accounts receivables, invoices.
Did Orbit Broadband use electronic accounting software like QuickBooks or something similar?
Yes.
Okay. Were you the person that set up the QuickBooks and ran the QuickBooks for Orbit?
I didn't set it up, but I just did the invoicing and billing.
Okay. And did you do that throughout the time that Orbit Broadband existed?
No, just part-time.
Okay.
Often.
Was there somebody else with Orbit that also did that same kind of work?
Yes.
Who was that, to your recollection?
I believe it was Jackie Woodard.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
With respect to G5 internet services, did you do any regular work for G5 internet services?
Yes. Same thing, bookkeeping.
Okay. Do you share those responsibilities with somebody at G5 Internet Services, or did you do it all for them?
It's what I do today.
Okay. And does G5 maintain its accounting records in a QuickBooks or something similar?
That's correct.
With respect to G5 streaming, do you take on similar role at G5 streaming with keeping books?
Yes, I do.
Okay. And is that also done by QuickBooks or some other similar accounting software?
Yes, it is.
Okay. Is it QuickBooks?
QuickBooks, yes.
Yeah. Do y'all keep a different sheet or different set of books for the streaming and for the internet service, or is it all handled in one consolidated set of books?
Two separate.
Okay. Very good. When Orbit, I believe your husband's testimony yesterday was that Orbit more or less converted into G5 Internet Services due to some marketing reasons, he felt the name was better. Did you take any active role in preparing any documents or moving assets or anything like that when Orbit was being reformed into G5 Internet Services?
No, not to my knowledge.
Okay. Did the QuickBooks files for Orbit just get renamed into G5 and imported that way?
I don't remember. I don't know how that was done.
Okay. Very good. Well, we know that your family has a funeral home there, I guess, in Cameron County, correct?
Yes.
And your maiden name is Garza. I don't need every cousin, uncle, niece, nephew that you have, but if you could please identify for me, Miss Galvan, the surnames of your relatives in Cameron County as best as you recall.
Cantu, Garza. I think that's it.
Okay, great. And did you obtain when you went to mortuary school? Do you hold a license or certification in that area?
Yes, I do. I have a license.
What's the license for? Licensed funeral director?
The license, yes, to make funeral arrangements.
Okay. Do you still keep a funeral director's license?
Yes, I do.
Okay. Has that license ever been suspended or revoked for any reasons?
No.
Okay. Other than the funeral director's license, do you hold any occupational licenses or certifications?
No, I don't.
Can you tell me, Ms. Galvan, what local civic organizations and volunteer type organizations you participate in Cameron County?
Right now, none.
Okay. What have you participated in the last 5 years?
In the last 5 years in the city. I can't recall anything right now.
Okay. Were you active in the FCA along with your husband?
Oh, and no, I was not on the board.
Okay. Are you involved in any school-based organizations related to schools for your children? PTAs, school boards?
Oh, okay. Yes, this last year I was on the PTSA, I think it's called.
Okay. I'm not going to hold you to those initials. That's a parent-teacher group, correct?
Mm-hmm.
That yes?
Yeah.
There we go. Were you on the Economic Development Board for Mercedes or for Harlingen with your husband? Okay. Did you do anything with the Chamber of Commerce separately from your husband's involvement?
No.
Okay. HCC, that's actually the country club. Were you on the country club board?
Club, yeah, no.
Okay. With respect to churches that y'all have attended over the years, Mr. Galvan yesterday identified the Northway Bible Church, Living Way Church, Church of the Living Word, Valley International Church, I believe, is churches that y'all had attended at least at some point. Are there any others that you can think of?
No.
Okay. Have you held any appointed positions or titles in any of the churches that you've attended with Mr. Galvan?
No.
Okay. Now, Mrs. Galvan, you've admitted that you were a youth minister, a youth pastor at Northway Bible Church.
No.
That's correct.
No.
You're now telling me that's incorrect?
That's correct. I was not a youth minister or a youth leader at Northway Bible Church.
Okay. Do you recall that you admitted that to my clients in a request for admission in February of 2020?
No, I don't recall.
Okay. We'll get to that in a minute. You haven't filed or submitted any supplemental or changes to your request for admissions since February 2020, have you?
No, not yet.
Okay. So is it going to be your testimony here today that you held no official positions of any type at Northway Bible Church in the time period of 2007, 2008, 2009?
Yes.
Can you describe for me how you would characterize your involvement at Northway Bible Church?
I helped coordinate mission trips, fundraisers for the youth and for any adults that wanted to attend a mission trip.
Matter of housekeeping, Miss Galvan, have you been a party? Well, have you given your deposition testimony in any other lawsuit that you recall?
And any other lawsuit? Is that what you said?
Yeah. Have you given a deposition before?
Once before.
Was that in the Salazar wrongful death type case that Mr. Galvan talked about?
No.
Okay. What case did you give a deposition in?
I don't know. I was in high school. It was a small car accident.
Ah. Were you a driver of a car that where there ended up being a lawsuit?
Yes.
Okay. Were you represented by your insurance company's retained lawyer at that time?
Yes.
Other than that deposition, do you recall any other times you've given deposition testimony?
No.
Do you recall ever being sworn in and giving live testimony at a trial?
No.
You have never been divorced, correct?
That's correct.
Okay. And you have no other family law type lawsuits that you've ever been involved in, correct?
No, not that I'm aware of.
Okay. Have you been the subject of any criminal prosecution, criminal type lawsuits?
No.
Okay. With respect to the businesses that you have with your husband, let's start with MDI. Are you aware whether MDI keeps any set of corporate books or records?
No, I'm not aware.
Okay. If I say corporate books, do you know, I'm talking, usually it's like some binder that has all the certificates of formation, bylaws, company agreements, whatever, minutes of the company. Being a business major, you understand the type of documents I'm talking about.
Yes, I do understand.
Okay. Have you ever seen any of those for MDI?
I have not.
Okay. With respect to Orbit broadband, the same type of questions. Are you aware of any corporate books being kept for Orbit broadband?
No, I'm not.
Okay. With respect to the types of documents that would be normally kept in a set of corporate books, certificates of formation, company agreements, bylaws, minutes, resolutions, that sort of thing. Have you ever seen any of that sort of thing with respect to Orbit broadband?
I have not seen them.
Did you have any participation actively in the Orbit broadband lawsuit related to the Salazar's claim?
No.
Okay. With respect to G5 internet services, have you ever seen a set of corporate books kept for G5 internet services?
No, I have not seen the corporate books.
Okay. With respect to documents that would typically be in a set of corporate books, like I've described for the other entities, bylaws, certificates of formation, and the like, have you ever seen any of those types of documents for G5 internet services?
No, I have not.
Have you ever seen those type of documents, bylaws, certificates of formation, minutes, company agreements, and the like, for G5 streaming?
No, I have not.
With respect to all of those entities, do you have any idea as we sit here today where those documents might be kept?
I am not sure.
Do you know if you and your husband formed G5 internet services yourselves, or did you use an attorney to do that?
I'm not sure.
Okay. Do you know whether you used an attorney to form any of the other entities that we've talked about, MDI, G5 streaming, and Orbit broadband?
No, I'm not sure if we used an attorney.
Okay. With respect to 5903 Nexus LLC, have you had any active involvement in that business at all?
No, I have not.
You don't keep the books for that business, correct?
No.
Do you know who does?
I don't.
Have you ever logged in or seen QuickBooks for that business?
No, I have not.
Okay. With respect to, now, we know that MDI is no longer doing any business other than receiving rental income from Vogel. Orbit turned into G5 internet services. With respect to G5 internet services, do you know where the business documents for that business are kept physically?
No.
Would they be in the building that you're in now or the building on Vogel Street?
I'm not sure.
Okay. With respect to G5 streaming, do you know where the business documents for that entity are kept?
No.
Okay. When you access the QuickBooks for G5 internet services, what computer do you use to do that from?
My computer at home.
Okay. Are the QuickBooks for G5 internet services kept on that computer locally, or is it cloud-based where you log in and they're kept somewhere in the cloud or a third-party storage?
It's a third-party storage, I think.
Okay.
I don't know if it's a server. I'm not even sure.
Sure. Based on your understanding, at least, are the QuickBooks files for G5 something that G5 internet services something that you could access from any computer as long as you had the login information, password, etc.?
Not from any computer, no.
Okay. Okay. Does it need to be your home computer?
Yes.
Okay. Same question with respect to G5 streaming. Do you access that from your home computer when you need to do something with G5 streaming?
That's correct, sorry.
And would you need to access that, in your opinion, from your home computer in order to access the accounting QuickBooks?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
About how much time a week do you spend doing bookkeeping type tasks for both the G5 internet and G5 streaming?
And maybe like 8 to 10 hours.
Like the typical week, 8 to 10 hours for both of those together?
Yeah, sometimes less. I mean, maybe 5 to 10. It just depends on the week.
Okay. Do you still do anything part-time at the funeral home?
No, not right now.
Okay. All right. Let's go on. Let's see here. I want to turn to some documents in this lawsuit that we're here about today. And we're going to go back to, we're going to use some of the same exhibits that I was using yesterday. When I was going through these yesterday, you did not have access to a computer screen where you could see the documents that I was going through as I went through them. Is that fair?
Yes.
Okay. But you were in the room when the audio was streaming and listened to some of it at least, correct?
Mr. Chapman, she means yes, she did see the audio and video.
Yes.
Oh, okay. So you could see the screen yesterday?
Yeah.
Okay, excellent. Very good. I'm going to now endeavor to remember how I shared technology yesterday with you. Let's see. Okay. Can y'all see a screen with the temporary restraining order pulled up, which was Exhibit 1 to Mr. Galvan's depot yesterday?
Yes, sir.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, excellent. Ms. Galvan, I'm going to turn, this is what's called the citation for service on the first page. Officer's return as I'm scrolling down. This is a copy of a temporary restraining order that was issued in this case from the 445th District Court, restraining my clients, Blaine and Hannah Cruz. Have you seen this document before?
Yes.
When was the first time you saw this restraining order, to your recollection?
I don't know. I don't remember.
Okay. If your lawsuit was filed sometime around November, but do you understand that this lawsuit was filed sometime around November 5th,
Yes.
2018?
Yes.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
You understand that both you and your husband are named plaintiffs in this lawsuit, correct?
Yes.
And as a named plaintiff, you understand that you are making individual claims against both Blaine and Hannah Cruz, my clients in this lawsuit. Do you understand that?
Yes, we were.
Okay. Well, you were. At the time of the lawsuit, Mr. Galvan, your husband was making claims against both of my clients, and you individually were also making claims against both of my clients, correct?
Yes.
And you individually were seeking a restraining order against both Blaine and Hannah Cruz, correct?
Yes.
Do you recall if you saw this restraining order at or around the time that you filed the lawsuit and it was signed by the court?
No.
When do you think you saw this restraining order for the first time?
I'm not sure. I don't know.
Okay. Let me ask you this question, Ms. Galvan. With respect to this lawsuit, both you and your husband are plaintiffs in the lawsuit, and we've gone over the fact that both you and your husband have individual claims against, had individual claims against both of my clients. Having said that, did one of the two of you, being you or your husband, shoulder the majority of the burden related to y'all's participation in this lawsuit?
Yes.
Would that be you or your husband that handled the majority of the obligations related to the lawsuit?
It was my husband.
Okay. As we sit here today, do you know what you were seeking my clients to be restrained from doing? Strike that. Back in 2018, when this lawsuit was filed, did you have an understanding of what you were seeking my clients to be restrained from doing?
Yeah, I guess for them just to stop trying to hurt us.
Okay. You don't, at the time that this lawsuit was filed, you didn't know the particulars of what the restraints entailed or included. Is that fair to say?
Not all, I mean, some of them, but not every little detail.
Okay. Do you recall whether either your husband or your attorneys presented this order for you to review before it was submitted to the court in November of 2018?
No.
And that was probably a bad question on my part. I asked you if you recalled that. I think probably what your answer meant, let me clarify, you did not review this order before it was submitted to the court, correct?
Yeah, I don't recall.
Okay. You don't know if you did one way or the other?
No, I don't recall.
Okay. Did you have an understanding back in November 2018 that you and your husband were attempting to restrain my clients from speaking about certain things to anyone?
Can you ask that again?
Sure. Let's talk about something that is a predicate to that. You were here for your husband's depo yesterday, correct?
Yes.
If I use the phrase the incident with Hannah Cruz or Hannah Lynn, do you have an understanding of what I'm talking about?
Yes.
Okay. Let's use that going forward. My question now that you asked me to rephrase is, in November 2018, did you have an understanding that both you and your husband were seeking to restrain my clients from speaking to anyone about the incident related to Hannah Cruz and your husband?
Yes.
Okay. Did you have an understanding, and I'm not asking for your understanding now, I'm talking about back when this was filed. Was that the same was true back then in November 2018?
Yes.
Okay. Back in November 2018, did you have an understanding that you were seeking individually along with your husband to prevent either one of my clients, Blaine or Hannah Cruz, from traveling within 1,000 feet of your place of worship, your business, your children's school, by virtue of this lawsuit?
Yes.
Did you have any participation in depositing $1,500 cash in lieu of bond in relation to this temporary restraining order?
No.
Okay. Ms. Galvan, I'm going to switch up here and we're going to go to this original petition, which was attached as Exhibit 2 to your husband's deposition. This again is a citation on the front page. This particular copy was a citation to Hannah Cruz. Return of service. This is the front page of the actual document entitled Plaintiff's Original Petition and Application for Injunctive Relief. Do you see that document?
Yes.
Is that a document that you had carefully reviewed before it was filed on November 5th, 2018?
I don't know.
You don't know whether you reviewed this document before November 5th, 2018?
No. I don't recall.
You understood though that you and your husband. Let me ask you this question, Ms. Galvan. Are there any notes or records that you can think of that would help you understand or refresh your recollection as to whether or not you reviewed this original petition and application for injunctive relief before it was filed in November 5th, 2018?
No.
Have you kept any personal records or files related to this lawsuit?
No.
Did you typically get emails of things that were filed in this lawsuit around the time that they were filed?
No.
Were you sent copies of documents in this lawsuit that were going to be filed by your attorneys prior to them being filed?
I don't know. I don't recall.
Okay. With respect to filings by your attorneys in this lawsuit, have you ever reviewed any of the motions filed by your attorneys?
I don't recall.
Have you ever reviewed any of the motions filed by me on behalf of the Cruzes?
No, I don't recall.
You just don't know whether you've reviewed them or not?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. I don't remember.
Okay. All right, let's go forward with this petition. This is the party section, and I'm gonna scroll down to a section entitled Facts. Do you see that section there in front of you?
Yes, I do.
Okay. Do you recall reviewing a paragraph that looked like this before you filed this lawsuit November 5th, 2018?
Yes. I think so. Mm-hmm.
Is that a yes?
Yes.
Okay. Were you in the room and listening when your husband was giving answers about the factual assertions that you and your husband made originally in this lawsuit yesterday?
Yes.
Okay. In general, with respect to the facts that y'all alleged in the lawsuit, was there any time when you were listening to his testimony concerning the facts that are alleged and you thought that you disagreed with what he was saying?
No.
Okay. So on this facts section, it reads on or about October 20th, 2018, plaintiff Sonia Galvan at 9:16 p.m. I received a Facebook message from defendant Blaine Cruz in which defendant Blaine Cruz sought Sonia Galvan's cell phone number and demanded to speak with plaintiffs. Thereafter, on October 21st, 2018 at 6:38 p.m., defendant Blaine Cruz called Sonia Galvan's cell phone, but plaintiff did not answer. Immediately thereafter, plaintiff Blaine Cruz texted Sonia Galvan and claimed that plaintiff Richard Galvan seduced and manipulated defendant Hannah Cruz in 2007. I'll stop there. Do you have any disagreement as we sit here today with that recounting of the facts?
No.
Okay. Those exact times, did you provide those to your husband and or the lawyers?
No.
Do you recall looking at your phone maybe to try to help them get the times to put in this factual section?
No.
Okay. Do you recall actively participating at all in drafting the factual assertions in your original petition?
No.
Okay. Thereafter, I'm in the middle of the paragraph where I left off. Thereafter, on October 21st, 2018 at 7:01 p.m., plaintiff Richard Galvan called defendant Blaine Cruz. During the conversation in which the speaker feature was utilized, plaintiffs heard defendant Blaine Cruz again claim in 2007 plaintiff Richard Galvan manipulated and seduced Hannah Cruz. Defendant Blaine Cruz spoke in threatening tones and used numerous curse words. Defendant Blaine Cruz then explained he would have put a bullet in plaintiff Richard Galvan's head if defendant Blaine Cruz knew defendant Hannah Cruz in 2007. Defendant Blaine Cruz claimed this phone call would not end and the plaintiff's children would learn as well. Do you have any disagreement as we sit here today with that recitation of the facts from your original lawsuit?
Yes.
Okay, what part do you disagree with from the part that I just read?
On the last part, he said that our children would be affected.
Okay.
Not learn as well.
Okay, so okay. Is that the only change that you have to offer?
Yes.
Okay. The next paragraph starts out, defendant Blaine Cruz told plaintiffs that defendant Blaine Cruz would call plaintiff's church and plaintiff's children would be affected as well. Defendant Blaine Cruz demanded that plaintiff Richard Cruz should not ever talk about anything of faith, go anywhere of faith, and will find out what defendant is going to do to him. Plaintiff Blaine Cruz said he did not care of plaintiff Sonia Galvan or her children. The following day, plaintiffs contacted plaintiff's church and advised them that the church would be receiving a similar threatening call. With respect to how far I've gotten in the factual recitations in your original petition, on this last reading, do you have any disagreements with those as stated as we sit here today?
No.
Okay. On October 25th, I'm going to read on from where I left off. On October 25th, 2018, 11:10 a.m., plaintiffs learned that defendant Blaine Cruz contacted the church the previous day and again claimed manipulation and seduction of defendant Hannah Cruz by plaintiff Richard Galvan, and plaintiff Sonia Galvan knew about it. Plaintiff then told the church that plaintiffs should not be allowed to go to church. The following day, plaintiffs spoke with children's school principal because of the threats made on October 26, 2018, plaintiffs contacted children's school and warned them of a likely campaign of defaming communications coming from defendant Blaine Cruz. In that last section that I just read, do you have any objection to the way the facts are recounted in your original lawsuit?
Hold on real quick. I want to read something real quick. Hold on. Defendants and the defendant contacted the children the previous day and again claimed manipulation. Sonia Galvan knew about it. There was no seduction. Yeah, there was no manipulation or seduction. I don't agree with that.
Okay. Anything else in that section that you don't agree with? Well, let me be clear here. I think I understand what you're saying, but let me clarify something. Are you saying that Mr. Blaine Cruz never claimed manipulation and seduction in his phone call? Or are you saying that manipulation and seduction did not occur?
That it did not occur?
Okay.
It did not occur. Yeah.
Okay. Because as we're reading this, just to clarify it, I'm not trying to be to try to move things around on you. In this set of facts, this is your set of facts, and when it mentions manipulation and seduction, it's talking about things that you allege Blaine Cruz said. You agree with me that you're alleging that he said those things, correct?
Yes.
Okay. Your opinion is this just that did not happen, correct? Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay. Sorry, you kind of hung up on me on my video. Thank you. Back to where I left off. In fear of defendant Blaine Cruz's acts, plaintiffs withdrew their middle son from one school and enrolled him in another school on October 29, 2018. On October 29, 2018 at 5:33 p.m., plaintiffs received confirmation that defendant Blaine Cruz attempted to contact a school administrator of plaintiff's children's school. To date, plaintiffs are not aware who else or where else Blaine Cruz will call or show up. With respect to that section that I've recited to you, do you have any disagreement with the facts that were laid out in your original petition?
No.
Okay. With respect to the various calls that this lawsuit was filed about, you participated in the call wherein Mr. Galvan, your husband, described you all as leaving the movie, wherein he called Blaine Cruz. You participated in that call, correct?
Yes.
Were you listening to that call, or were you also talking in that call?
I was listening.
Okay. Do you recall saying anything to my client, Mr. Blaine Cruz, during that call?
I don't know.
Okay. Do you remember my client, Blaine Cruz, saying anything directly to you?
I believe he asked me if I knew.
Do you recall your response?
I said yes.
Okay. And for purposes of what we're talking about, I referred to it as the incident between Richard and Hannah, and you know what I'm talking about, correct?
Yeah. Yes.
And when Blaine said he asked you if you knew, he was talking about that incident. And then when you said you did, you were talking about that same incident, correct?
Yeah, I get. Yeah, I guess so.
Okay. To get out of looking at just the facts in this petition, do you recall when it was that when was the first time that Mr. Galvan told you about the incident with Hannah Lynn?
It was around 2017.
Okay. Sometime in 2007? Sometime in 2007, ma'am? Okay. With respect to the phone call between you and with you and Richard on one end and Blaine Cruz on the other, do you recall how long that lasted?
I don't know. I don't remember.
With respect to the messages, be they text or through Facebook or what have you, that this lawsuit talks about you receiving, have you kept those messages?
No.
Okay. Do you recall if Blaine Cruz's language in the phone call that he had with you and your husband in October 2018, do you recall if Blaine Cruz ever used the words manipulation and seduction?
Yes, he did.
Your testimony here today is those are the words that he used.
Yes.
Okay. With respect to conversations with the church about Mr. Cruz, you did not participate in any of those calls, correct?
That's correct.
You never talked. Mr. Galvan, your husband, said he called Bill Moore. You never talked to Bill Moore, did you?
No.
Were you in the presence of your husband when he talked to Bill Moore?
No.
Were you in the presence of your husband when he talked to the various officials at the school, be it Tammy Panel or the principal?
I don't recall.
Okay. You don't recall anything from those conversations if you were present, correct?
No.
Is that a no?
No.
Yeah. I think when you lean back, sometimes the microphone kind of drops you a little bit. You don't have to lean forward, but I'm not trying to make you answer the same question twice. Sometimes I can't hear it. You did not call. Well, let me ask you this way. Did you call or contact in any way any third party about Blaine Cruz back in October 2018?
No.
Did your husband handle all of that for the both of you?
Yes.
You don't then have any way to know what was said in those calls one way or the other, correct?
When you say calls, do you mean to who? Just
your husband's calls to either the school or the church.
Right. No.
Okay. You can talk about whatever you may recall from the call with Blaine Cruz and you and your husband, certainly. I understand that. Is there anything from that call with Blaine Cruz and your husband that you recall sitting here today that's not laid out in the facts you allege in your lawsuit?
No, I don't think so.
Okay. You never, let me ask it this way. Did you ever review any communications that my client, Mr. Blaine Cruz, had with any third party concerning your husband?
No.
Did you have in October 2018 any communications with Hannah Cruz?
No.
Would you agree with your husband's testimony yesterday that Hannah Cruz did not participate actively in the call with Blaine and you and your husband?
Yes.
You are not aware, as we sit here today, that Hannah Cruz has ever contacted any third party about anything related to your lawsuit, are you?
No.
And you weren't aware of any statements at the time that you filed this lawsuit where Hannah Cruz would be the person allegedly defaming either you or your husband, are you?
I don't know.
Well, when you filed this lawsuit in November 2018, were you aware of any allegedly defamatory communications by Hannah Cruz?
Well, I mean, she lied to her husband.
Okay. Were you aware of any defamatory communications made by Hannah Cruz to any third party, not her husband or you or your husband, in November of 2018?
I'm not sure. I don't know.
In November of 2018, were you aware of any assault by Hannah Cruz?
Assault? No.
Okay. Would you lay out for me, Mrs. Galvan, in November 2018, what did you consider with respect to Mr. Blaine Cruz's statements? What did you consider defamatory as to you?
Well, I mean, defamatory to me would, the fact that he said that I knew that he had manipulated, that Richard had manipulated and seduced her in 2007. And that was not true. That's not true.
Okay. And is it your position today that that's not true because your opinion is that your husband, Mr. Richard Galvan, did not manipulate or seduce, but did have sex with Hannah Cruz, but not as a result of either manipulation or seduction? Is that your opinion today?
Yes.
And was that your opinion in 2018?
Yes.
You would agree with your husband's testimony that Mr. Blaine Cruz never threatened you, your husband, or your children with any imminent physical harm during his phone call with you. Isn't that correct?
Yes.
Did you understand, I'm scrolling down past the fact section of this original petition, did you understand when you filed this lawsuit in November 2018 that you and your husband were seeking a permanent injunction against both Blaine and Hannah Cruz?
I'm not sure. I don't recall.
Okay. Were the details regarding temporary restraining order, temporary injunction, and permanent injunction, were the details of any of those kinds of relief ever explained to you prior to this lawsuit being filed?
No.
By anyone?
No.
Did you understand that you were seeking to curtail or enjoin the Cruz's personal freedom as a result of this lawsuit?
No.
You did not understand that when it was filed?
No.
With respect to causes of action, the first one listed here is assault. Do you see that in your lawsuit?
Yes.
And it says, in addition or an alternative to all the other claims, plaintiffs seek a recovery under a theory of assault. You see that?
Yes.
And going on from there, it says specifically Blaine Cruz intentionally or knowing threatened Richard Galvan with imminent bodily injury, which caused plaintiff Richard Galvan injury. Do you see that?
I do.
Now, your testimony just a few minutes ago was in the phone call that you were on. You agreed with your husband's testimony from yesterday that Mr. Cruz never threatened you, your husband, or your children with imminent bodily injury. Do you know why this threat was put into the lawsuit?
No.
Is that no, you do not?
No.
You don't agree with that statement now, do you?
No.
And if you'd been asked about it in 2018, you wouldn't have agreed with it then, would you?
I'm not sure.
In any case, the recitation in this lawsuit that Mr. Galvan was threatened with imminent bodily injury is incorrect.
Yes.
With respect to the second cause of action, intentional infliction of emotional distress, when this lawsuit was filed, did you have any understanding that you were seeking recovery under a theory of intentional infliction of emotional distress against the Cruzes?
Yes.
What was your understanding of what you were seeking to recover as a result of the intentional infliction of emotional distress cause of action against the Cruzes at the time this lawsuit was filed in 2018?
I'm sorry, can you ask that again?
Sure. When this lawsuit was filed in 2018, you filed a claim of intentional infliction of emotional distress, and you testified just a second ago that you understood that you had filed that claim. My question to you is, in 2018, what was your understanding of what you were seeking to recover under that cause of action?
I didn't know. I don't know. I was seeking to recover.
Did you have an understanding when this lawsuit was filed that you and your husband were seeking over $800,000 in money damages from the Cruzes?
No.
Do you, at the time in 2018, do you believe either you or your husband had suffered $800,000 in monetary damages as a result of the Cruz's actions alleged in your lawsuit?
I don't know.
You don't know whether you did or not believe that?
Um, I really don't know how they arrived at that.
Okay. But I'm asking from you personally, you're a personal individual plaintiff in this lawsuit. When it was filed in November 5th, 2018, do you believe that Blaine Cruz's actions had caused over $800,000 worth of damage to you and your husband?
I don't know.
Did you ever ask anybody about that
No,
back in 2018?
no,
Did you make any attempt to calculate the monetary damages you believed you had suffered when this lawsuit was filed?
no,
Do you know if your husband made any attempt to calculate monetary damages that he'd suffered when this lawsuit was filed?
no. I don't know how they arrived at that.
You don't know who it was or how it happened?
No,
Do you have any understanding now of why you agreed with it then back in 2018?
no,
When you read it, did you read that in the petition in 2018?
no,
Okay. So you don't recall ever seeing the monetary figures of totaling $835,000 back in 2018?
no, I don't.
Is that because you didn't actually get to see the full petition?
I don't know. I don't recall.
As we sit here today, do you recall whether you saw every page of the petition that y'all filed in 2018?
No,
You don't recall one way or the other?
no, I don't recall.
Do you recall seeing any monetary damage figures in 2018 when you in this lawsuit?
No,
Have you kept any notes or records that you could reflect on to tell me what it is you reviewed in 2018 when this was filed?
Objection form.
no.
I don't want to know anything again that you said to your lawyers, but did you have any meetings with Mr. Bentz or Mr. Young prior to the filing of this lawsuit?
No,
Did you have any communications with them whatsoever?
no, I don't recall.
In October of 2018, when this lawsuit was filed, what was your understanding of the specifics of what you were trying to recover and why with respect to intentional infliction of emotional distress?
I don't know all the specifications, all the specifics. I don't know.
Do you know why whoever it was that did it made a big deal about there's no physical proof in your pleadings in this lawsuit?
No,
You would agree with me that just because there's no physical proof doesn't mean something didn't happen, correct?
yeah, I don't know.
You'd agree with me that you don't have to have the lack of a physical proof doesn't negate that something could have happened, correct?
I don't know.
Okay. With respect to the next cause of action, it's under a heading titled defamation per se. Do you see that heading?
Yes,
Were you in the room yesterday when your husband was going through this pleading with me and talking about his defamation per se claim?
I don't know if I was
Okay.
here.
Okay, very good. What was your understanding in 2018 of what constituted defamation, first of all?
I'm sorry, can you ask that again?
Sure. In 2018, when this lawsuit was filed, what was your understanding of what constituted defamation?
Well, to, injure someone's reputation, I guess. Something that's untrue.
Did you have an understanding that it required that the cause of action for defamation required something to be untrue?
Yes.
Did you have an understanding that to defame somebody, you had to communicate something that was untrue to a third party?
Yes.
Yesterday, your husband testified that what was defaming in the communications by Blaine Cruz was the use of the phrase manipulated and seduced. Do you agree with that testimony?
Yes.
Is there anything else in the communications that you heard on the phone call from Blaine Cruz that you consider to be defamatory?
He didn't manipulate or seduce her.
Yeah. Anything else?
From the phone call or just in general?
With respect to my client Blaine Cruz's communications, the ones that you personally heard, other than seduced and manipulated, or manipulated and seduced, is there anything else in the communications that you personally heard that you believe to be defamatory?
Well, I mean, I don't believe he had, he didn't have any type of, he put her in any position, or he wasn't in any kind of position to make her to have sex with him.
Okay. Did Mr. Blaine Cruz in the phone call say that your husband made her have sex with him?
Did Blaine say that he made her? Say that again?
Yeah. Did he say made her have sex with him?
No.
In the phone call?
Blaine said that he manipulated her.
Okay.
That's what he said.
He said manipulated and seduced was your husband's testimony yesterday, and I think you've agreed with that. That's correct, isn't it?
Yes.
Okay. So I'm just trying to drill down in that conversation that you had outside the movie theater. Was there anything other than anything else said by my client, Mr. Blaine Cruz, other than manipulated and seduced, that you believe was defamatory in 2018 when this lawsuit was filed?
No.
Okay. Did you have an understanding in 2018 when this lawsuit was filed what the phrase per se meant when it was added after defamation?
No.
Was that ever explained to you by anybody?
No.
Did you understand that you were seeking monetary damages against the plaintiffs with respect to alleged defamatory statements made by Blaine Cruz?
No.
Did you understand that you were seeking hundreds of thousands of dollars in damages for allegedly defamatory statements by my client Blaine Cruz in this lawsuit filed in November 2018?
No.
Do you know why you agreed with this lawsuit then at the time?
No, I don't know. I don't recall.
With respect to Hannah Cruz, you don't have any testimony to give me that you believe she contacted any third party and made a defamatory statement, correct?
No, not that I'm aware of.
Okay. And you didn't back in 2018 when this lawsuit was filed, correct?
That's correct.
Mr. Chapman, I show we're almost at an hour and a half. Can we take a 5-minute break?
Yeah, let's take 5 or 6 minutes. That's perfect. Thank you.
We're off the record.
Ms. Galvan, have you understood generally the questions that I've asked you thus far?
Yes.
Okay. We were talking about the defamation per se action that was filed by you in November 2018 against my clients, Blaine and Hannah Cruz. There's been your testimony that the defaming statements by Blaine Cruz, which were the sole basis of this action, were the words manipulation and seduction. With respect to those words, in 2018, when this lawsuit was filed, what did seduce or seduction mean to you?
Well, when you seduce someone, that's trying to get them to do something. I don't know. Seduce meaning maybe entice them, or trying to have them do something they don't want to do, maybe doing something against their will, or seducing.
You'd agree seducing generally connotes a romantic or sexual subject matter?
I don't know.
Can you think of the word seduce or seduction being used for anything not linked to some sort of romantic or sexual activity?
It could be towards something sexual, you know?
Okay. I mean, can you think of anything outside of romantic or sexual nature that the word seduce would apply to?
No, just sexual.
Okay. With respect to manipulate in November 2018, what did that mean to you?
Just seduce or manipulation and seduction?
Well, what did manipulation and seduction mean to you as a phrase?
Well, it means that, you know, trying to get someone, you know, like, you know, when he said that about Richard, it was like if he was trying to get her to do something that she didn't want to do, and he didn't do that. He did not manipulate or seduce her. He didn't try to use any type of position or any type of, you know, whatever she's claiming to get her to do something against her will.
Okay. That was your opinion when this lawsuit was filed, correct?
Yes.
When this lawsuit was filed, what was your opinion generally about a pastor, priest, minister, or the like having sex with someone in his church?
Well, we were not pastors or leaders or ministers in the church.
Objection not responsive. I'm asking in general. I'm not talking about you or Mr. Galvan right now. I'm talking about in November 2018. What was your opinion in general with regard to priests, ministers, and the like having sex with people at their church?
I don't really have an opinion about that.
You don't think it's good or bad one way or the other?
I don't have an opinion.
Okay. Were you aware at the time this lawsuit was filed of any cases or scandals or anything of that nature that had been in the news regarding priests, ministers, and the like having sex with people in their congregations?
Yeah, I mean, they're, you know, Catholics, you know, what was going on in the church, priests.
And some of that stuff has been all over the news for years and years, correct?
That's correct.
Were you aware in November 2018 that in the state of Texas, a person under the care of their minister or pastor could not legally consent to sexual conduct with that pastor or minister?
No.
Is that something you're aware of today?
No.
Are you aware of that allegation ever being made in this lawsuit?
No.
Or have you ever seen the statute regarding the lack of consent in that situation?
No.
Do you know if that statute was cited in my brief to the Court of Appeals?
No.
Do you know if that statute was used by the Court of Appeals as a basis for their opinion in this case?
No.
Have you ever read the Court of Appeals opinion in this case?
No. The Court of Appeals, say that again?
Have you ever read the 16-page opinion by the Chief Justice of the 13th Court of Appeals issued in your case?
It's been read to me, but I have not read it.
Do you understand that the Court of Appeals determined that the facts in this case are that Ms. Hannah Lynn, now Hannah Cruz, could not legally consent to sex with your husband?
Objection form.
No.
Do you understand that the court found that the great weight of the evidence in this case is that my client, Hannah Cruz, could not have consented to sex with your husband in 2007?
Objection form.
Mm-mm.
Are you aware of that at this time?
No.
Back in 2018, when this lawsuit was filed, you had no knowledge regarding consent laws between pastors and people in their congregation or under their care, did you?
No.
And since the time this lawsuit was filed in 2018, is it fair to say no one has communicated on that subject with you whatsoever?
No.
Are you aware that in the Court of Appeals opinion issued in October 2019, the court found that because of the situation between Hannah Cruz, then Hannah Lynn, and your husband, that conduct was, as a matter of law, a matter of concern to the public?
Objection form.
What's the
No.
basis?
The basis would be facts not in evidence and no personal knowledge.
I asked her what she was aware of. And are you aware that in October 2019, the 13th Court of Appeals found as a matter of law in this case that the sexual incident between Hannah Cruz and your husband was and is a matter of public concern?
No.
Has anyone ever told you that?
I don't recall.
Has your husband ever told you that?
I don't recall.
Going on in the petition, there's a claim for public disclosure of private facts. Do you see that there on the screen?
Yes.
At the time this petition was filed in 2018, did you have any understanding what the claim public disclosure of private facts was about?
Not really sure. I don't recall.
Did you understand you were making a claim against both Blaine and Hannah Cruz for public disclosure of private facts?
Yes. Yes.
Scrolling down on this page 5 of the first petition in this case, did you have an understanding in 2018 that you were asking the court to place a gag order on both of my clients?
Yes.
What, in your mind, in 2018 was the basis for the requested gag order?
It was really our lawyer's advice at the time.
You don't know factually what the basis for that requested relief was, do you?
No.
Going on to page 6 of the petition, did you understand in 2018 when this lawsuit was filed that you and your husband, Mr. Galvan, were seeking an award of exemplary damages against my clients?
No.
Did you understand what exemplary damages were?
No.
As we sit here today, do you understand what exemplary damages are?
No.
Have you heard the term punitive damages?
I've heard the term before.
Okay. If I tell you that exemplary damages are oftentimes referred to also as punitive damages, do you have an understanding of what that concept is?
I have some understanding, but I don't know the details.
If I said to you that exemplary or punitive damages were damages that a party is seeking not to recover from their own damages, but simply to punish a defendant, is that consistent with what you might have thought about the concept of punitive damages in 2018?
Yes.
Did you understand in 2018 that you were seeking that this court to award money to you, not for your own damages, but to punish Mr. and Mrs. Cruz? Did you understand that in 2018?
No.
You did, on scrolling down to the bottom of this page 6, you did understand that you and your husband were seeking a restraining order against the Cruzes.
Yes.
What was your understanding of what you were trying to restrain in 2018?
Well, I was really trying to get him from stop trying to hurt, me, my family, my kids. Now, it was very frustrating. It was very emotional.
Fair to say that you didn't want communications about the sexual incident between Hannah and Richard to be made public. Is that correct?
No, that's not true.
You didn't care about that at all?
Well, I don't know, say that it was their version of the story. It was how it was being said, that he manipulated and seduced her.
Okay. In 2018, you understood that your husband had had sex with Hannah Lynn when she was 17 years old.
Yes.
Is it your position that that information would not have, to use the language in your petition, mortified, embarrassed, damaged you in any way?
I'm not really sure.
Did you understand in 2018 when this pleading was filed that you and your husband were seeking to have whatever fees were incurred by your attorneys to be paid by the Cruzes?
Yes.
Do you think you read this sentence that plaintiffs are entitled to reasonable and necessary attorney's fees back in 2018?
Yes.
You did read that section?
Yes.
Did you read it in this petition?
Yes, I think so.
I'm going to go down to the bottom of this page, paragraph A under prayer, and it says actual and special damages of and from the defendants in an amount no less than $335,000 associated with plaintiff's claims of defamation, plus $500,000 in damages associated with pain and suffering requested here and above, then the amount, all in the amount within the jurisdictional limits of this court. Do you see that?
Yes.
Earlier testimony that you didn't understand that you were asking for $835,000 worth of damages in this lawsuit, and that you said you didn't read that in the lawsuit. My question to you, Ms. Galvan, is if you read the attorney's fees section above, why didn't you read to the bottom of the page?
I don't know.
You don't know?
No.
You recognize the verification page that's now on the screen.
Yes.
Is this a verification page for the plaintiff's original petition in this lawsuit?
Yes.
Could you read the first paragraph of that that's in quotes in the middle of the page? It starts with, "My name is Sonia Galvan."
Okay.
That paragraph says, "My name is Sonia Galvan. I've read the plaintiff's original petition, an application for temporary restraining order, and the facts stated therein are within my personal knowledge and are true and correct." Did I read that correctly?
Yes.
And I'm going to go down here to the next page. Is that your signature on the second page of this verification?
Yes.
And you signed that statement under oath on November 1st, 2018, correct?
Yes.
Do you know the notary Gloria Barra by any chance?
Do I know her like personally, or what do you mean? Do I know her?
Well, do you know where you signed this, first of all, I guess?
Yes.
Where did you sign this document?
I don't remember.
You just said that you knew where you signed it. Are you changing that answer?
No, I don't remember. Yeah, I don't remember.
Okay. So when you said you knew where you signed it, that was incorrect.
Yeah, that's incorrect. I don't remember. I signed a lot of stuff.
Related to this lawsuit?
No, I just mean in general. Sorry.
Okay. Do you remember going anywhere to sign documents related to this lawsuit in 2018, November 2018?
I don't recall.
Did you sign this at home?
I don't recall.
Is it possible you signed it at home?
I don't know.
Your testimony here today under oath is you don't recall where you signed this verification of the lawsuit in any way.
Yes, that's correct.
You don't know if you signed it at a law office, at your husband's office, or at your home.
I do not recall.
Do you recall providing a state-issued ID to the notary public to record in her notary book?
No, I don't recall.
Do you recall ever doing that for anything in this lawsuit?
No, I don't recall.
Do you think you did or did not?
I don't know.
Do you think it's more likely that you did provide an ID to the notary or that you did not?
Objection form, counsel. The witness has answered this question numerous times.
I don't recall.
Do you remember what day do you remember the circumstances under which you reviewed the plaintiff's petition? Do you remember where you were?
No.
Did you review it on a computer screen or did you review a paper copy?
I don't know. I don't know.
Did you review it at the same time as Richard or at a different time?
I do not recall.
Do you remember who asked you to review the lawsuit?
No.
Do you have any recollection of anybody asking you to review your original petition in this case?
No.
Do you agree with me that a lawsuit asking for at least $835,000 in economic damages is a serious lawsuit?
Objection form.
Yes.
If somebody sued you for $835,000, would you consider that to be a serious matter?
Objection form.
Yes.
Do you think that's something you would remember?
A lawsuit? Can you?
Yeah, if somebody sued you for nearly $1 million, do you think that's something you would keep a memory of when you received it?
Yes.
But in this lawsuit, seeking nearly $1 million from my clients, at least you don't have any recollection of reviewing any of the documents about it, do you?
I do not remember ever seeing the numbers.
You don't remember seeing the notary?
No, the numbers, not the notary.
Okay. You don't remember, okay, I understand that about the notary. You don't remember seeing the notary for your affidavit, do you?
I don't recall.
Do you remember providing the information? I've now scrolled back up to be clear, the first page of your verification and affidavit in your original petition. Do you remember providing the information and this verification and affidavit to anyone?
Yeah, that's the original statement. I believe I gave that information to my attorney.
Earlier, you testified that you don't recall ever meeting with your attorney before this was filed. How did you give him that information?
I don't remember. I don't remember how I gave it to him.
Do you remember when?
Shortly sometime after the phone call.
Did you go to, we were talking about Mr. Bentz now, did you go to his office?
I really don't remember.
Did you go to Mr. Bentz's office at any time before this petition was filed?
I might have. I don't recall.
Through the course of this lawsuit, did you receive any communications directly from Mr. Bentz?
Yeah, I believe so.
Were those sent to you via to your own email or to email for you and your husband both?
I believe it might have been my husband's email. I don't recall. I don't recall.
Okay, I'm going to ask you to read the second paragraph on the first page of your affidavit.
Mr. Chapman.
On the screen now.
Apologize for interrupting, Mr. Chapman. We're at 12 o'clock. Were we going to break and when would it be convenient to do so?
Yeah, let me get through this affidavit, maybe like 5 minutes or so, 10 minutes.
Alrighty.
Okay. Miss Galvan, go ahead and take a look at this paragraph that's up on the screen. It's the second paragraph of your affidavit in support of the original petition.
Okay.
Is there anything in that paragraph that you disagree with now?
No.
Did you ever receive a file marked copy of your petition, an application for adjunctive relief once it was filed in the court in Cameron County, Texas?
Is that what this is called?
Yes.
Um,
Okay. All right.
I
This, scroll down now to the verification of Mr. Richard Galvan that I went over with him yesterday. Did you participate in any way in preparing his verification and affidavit in support of this original petition?
No.
All right, let's take a break, folks.
And come back
What time?
It's 12:35.
12:35.
Yeah.
We're off the record.
All right, let's get back to starting. We've come back from a lunch break. Miss Galvan, I was asking you about things related to your original petition from 2018 in this case before we broke for lunch. With respect to your testimony about this petition, is there anything after the lunch break that you want to change?
No, I don't think so.
Okay. We've gone through this original petition that you and your husband both filed in November 5th, 2018, and reviewed it in pretty good detail. I want to ask you, in general, in 2018, did you, Sonia Galvan, want to file this lawsuit?
Yes.
And you wanted to do that independently of what your husband's opinion was. Is that correct?
Well, we both wanted to.
Okay. Nobody made you or coerced you into filing this thing, correct?
That's correct.
And you understood back at the time that you didn't have to be a party to it.
Yes, I did.
And you understood back at the time that you didn't have to execute a verification and affidavit in support of what you were asking for.
I'm sorry.
Correct.
Can you ask that again?
Yeah, you understood at the time that you didn't have to sign off on a sworn pleading, a verification and affidavit in support of this thing. No one made you do that, did they?
No, the attorneys are the one who.
That was your voluntary act to swear that everything in that petition was true and correct and within your personal knowledge, wasn't it?
Yes.
Why did you want to file this lawsuit back in 2018?
Objection form asked and answered.
Do I answer?
Yeah, go ahead.
Oh, I'm sorry. Wanted to file because, we felt threatened by what Blaine had said. Because he had accused Richard of manipulating and seducing, and then he made threats towards Richard and towards me, towards my children. And so because of those threats, I did not feel safe.
Okay. Move along now to, well, this was Exhibit 3 to Richard's deposition will be Exhibit 3 to yours. Let me scroll up here. It's a cover sheet from Benson Associates to me dated February 8th, 2019. This is a copy of plaintiff's first amended original petition and application for injunctive relief. Do you see that document that's on the screen now?
Yes.
Did you have any active participation in amending your original petition to create this amended original petition?
No.
Okay. Gosh, let me go back one more time to the original petition. I'm going to ask you to look over the facts here and tell me when you're done, and we'll move along.
Okay.
And I'm going to go down now to one more. Sorry, to do this again, but let me go down. This is the conclusion of your fact section. If you just want to glance over that right quick again, please.
Okay.
Okay, I've showed you the page and a half to 2 pages. They're the factual assertions in your original petition, Mrs. Galvan. There is not any statement in your original petition that the things said by my client, Mr. Blaine Cruz, were false, is there?
I'm sorry. I missed that. I missed the one word. I couldn't hear.
Sure. Let me rephrase it or just repeat it. We looked over the entire section of the factual assertions supporting your lawsuit filed in November 5th, 2018. And in the factual assertions supporting the lawsuit, there is no statement from either you or Mr. Galvan, the plaintiffs in the lawsuit, that the things said by Blaine Cruz were false. Is there?
There's nothing here that says that they were false. So you're asking if there's anything here that is false?
No, that's not what I'm asking. I'm asking the following question. You and your husband filed this lawsuit. These are the facts that you cited to support your lawsuit, and neither you nor your husband in your lawsuit stated that my client's statements, Mr. Blaine Cruz's statements, were false.
Oh, I get what you're saying. Okay.
That's not in here, is it?
I thought we did say that they were false. Can you scroll up a little more?
Yeah, sure.
Hold on. Oh, wait.
Okay.
I don't know. In the conversation. The towns. Maybe it's further down? Can you go up? No?
I'll go through the facts. I'm asking about the facts cited to support your lawsuit. There's no statement that Mr. Blaine Cruz's communications were false, is there?
Mm, I don't think they're in the original
Okay.
petition, because I don't think that they're in the original.
Okay. Ms. Galvan, if you was a plaintiff for filing a lawsuit and did file a lawsuit in 2018 about allegedly false statements, why did you not identify the false statements in the lawsuit that you filed?
I don't know with the attorneys.
You think that'd be something important to do in a lawsuit about false statements?
I don't know.
Okay. I'm going to move along back to the amended petition. You didn't participate. I think you just testified that you didn't participate in redrafting and amending the petition in any way, correct?
Yeah, that's correct.
Okay. Now, here we go in the fact section of this one. It contains a modification of 4 words. I'm going to read it to you immediately thereafter. Blaine Cruz texted plaintiff Sonia Galvan and claimed that plaintiff Richard Galvan seduced and manipulated defendant Hannah Cruz in 2007. These allegations are false. You see that?
Yes, I see it.
And that's an addition in your first amended petition filed about 3 months after your original lawsuit,
Okay.
correct?
Yes.
Let's scroll down here and skip around. With respect to the prayer in the first amended petition, did you understand in February 2019 that you and your husband were still asking for over $835,000 in damages?
No.
Had you suffered $835,000 in damages by that time?
I don't know. Not aware.
That first amended petition is supported by an affidavit of your husband, Mr. Richard Galvan, and I think you probably heard me talk about it with him yesterday. Is that right?
Yes, I think so.
You didn't participate in crafting his affidavit for this amended pleading, correct?
No.
You wouldn't be able to comment about whatever he put in the amended pleading then, the amended affidavit then, or why he put it in there, correct?
I'm sorry, say that first part again. I wouldn't what?
Yeah, would you wouldn't, if you didn't participate, you wouldn't have any ability to comment on why things were added to this amended affidavit that weren't in the first one?
No.
Okay. And you did not file an affidavit in support of the first amended petition, or did you? Yeah, you did. Do you remember executing this affidavit and verification in February 2019?
I'm the affidavit. I don't know.
Okay. Is that your signature on the page that's up now, page 2?
Yeah, that's my signature.
Okay. Who's Claudia Hernandez?
The notary?
Yeah, do you know Ms. Hernandez personally in any capacity?
I don't know them personally.
Okay. Do you recall where you executed this affidavit in February of 2019?
I do not recall the location of where it was notarized. The notary.
Do you know if you signed it at your house?
No, I don't recall.
Do you know if you were shown a copy of the first amended petition and read through it before you signed this affidavit in February 2019?
I don't recall.
Okay. Okay, I'm going to ask you to read. Well, the first paragraph of this is, my name is Sonia Galvan. I've read the first amended original petition and application for temporary restraining order. Plaintiff's response to defendant's motion to dismiss per chapter CPRC chapter 27 and motion to transfer venue, and the facts stated in are within my personal knowledge and are true and correct. Do you see that sentence?
I do see that.
It was your testimony earlier this morning that you didn't ever review any motions filed in this case. You hadn't reviewed any motion to dismiss when you signed this affidavit, had you?
Any motion to dismiss. I don't know.
And you hadn't reviewed a motion to transfer venue when you signed this affidavit, had you, Ms. Galvan?
Ask me that question again.
I said you hadn't reviewed the motion to transfer venue when you signed this affidavit, had you?
I mean, I might have. I don't recall.
Okay. You don't recall one way or the other?
Correct.
When it says plaintiff's response to defendant's motion to dismiss per CPRC chapter 27, do you see that?
I do.
Okay. Do you have any recollection, you're the plaintiff in this lawsuit, and it's referencing your response to a motion to dismiss, do you have any recollection of what was said in that response that you say you read in this affidavit?
No, I don't.
Do you have any recollection of what was said in plaintiff's response to the motion to transfer venue?
No.
Do you have any understanding as we sit here today that your attorneys did not file your response to the motion to transfer venue in a timely manner and had to request relief from the court for the court to consider their response?
The objection form,
What's the basis?
legal opinion, legal question.
I asked her if she had knowledge of that.
No, I don't recall.
Okay. But you can't tell me as we sit here today any of the things argued in either one of your responses to the motion to dismiss or the motion to transfer venue, correct?
No, that's correct.
Okay. If you would, read this second paragraph of your affidavit and I can't get it all, but we'll scroll down. Let me know when you're ready to scroll down to the next page.
Okay, I'm done with that first part.
All right, and you got a few more lines on this page.
Okay. Okay.
Okay. In this affidavit from February 2019, you did not swear under oath that Blaine Cruz's statements were false or untrue, did you?
I did not swear under oath. Can you elaborate? What do you mean by swear?
Yeah, your affidavit sworn under oath. You understand that? Signed before a notary, correct?
So they were false. No.
There's no statement by you that those statements by Mr. Cruz were false in this affidavit, correct?
Correct.
Okay. I'm going to go back up to your husband's affidavit supporting the amended petition, and down in the second sentence of the page that's now on the screen, the second paragraph of Mr. Galvan's affidavit, it reads, during the conversation, Blaine Cruz claimed in 2007 that I manipulated and seduced Hannah Cruz, period, this is false. Do you see that language?
I do.
My question to you, Ms. Galvan, is why did your husband swear that that was false, but you did not?
I don't know.
Did you refuse to swear that was false at the time of this amended pleading?
No.
You don't know why that language wasn't included in your affidavit, do you, as we sit here
No.
today?
No. It had to have been an error. Was an error.
Do you recall at the time that this first amended petition was filed, do you recall seeing the numbers for the damages you were seeking?
No.
All right. I'm going to move along here to Richard Galvan's exhibit, what is this, 4 to Mr. Galvan's deposition. Exhibit 4, it's an affidavit of Hannah Cruz in support of defendant's motion to dismiss. Do you see that?
Yes.
When is the first time that you read this affidavit of Hannah Cruz, Mrs. Galvan?
I don't remember.
Has you read it at any time prior to your husband's deposition testimony yesterday?
I don't know. I don't recall.
I'm going to ask you to read page 1 of the affidavit. Let me know when you're ready.
Okay.
I'm going to ask you to read paragraphs 4, 5, and 6. The second page of Hannah Cruz's affidavit. Let me know when you're ready for me to scroll down.
Can you scroll up just a little bit? Just a little bit?
Sure. Is that better? Is that better?
Yes. Okay.
Okay. I'm going to get you to paragraph 6 and 7. If you read 6, you read 7, then we'll move down when we get to you get down to 7.
Okay. Okay.
And let me know when you're ready to scroll down. I'm going to read from the top of the page to paragraph 10, and I'll scroll down. Did we lose the deponents?
Looks like we
We'll take
might
it.
have.
Okay.
There they are.
Okay. We can-
Sorry, Mr. Chapman, can you hear us?
Yeah.
We completely lost.
Internet access.
Okay. Did you get through paragraph 10?
Yes.
Let's go on.
Yes, I
Okay.
did. Yes.
Okay. I've got paragraph 11, 12, and 13 up there. I'm going to ask you to take a look at those as well.
Okay, can you go up to 13?
Sure. Want me to raise it up?
Yes, please.
Okay. Can you see 13 now?
Yes, but okay, can you scroll up a little more?
Yeah. If you gotten through paragraph 13,
Yes, yes. Uh-huh.
yeah, okay. I think we're good then for that for right now anyways.
Oh, okay.
You looked through the affidavit, at least through paragraph 13 of the affidavit now, Ms. Galvan.
Mhm.
Have you ever read Hannah Cruz's direct statement about her interactions with Richard Galvan before now?
I don't recall I read through all of them, through some of them.
Do you know, I will submit to you, this affidavit was filed in February of 2019, in support of our motion to dismiss. Do you know why it is that your husband did not file any testimony or any affidavit telling the court in this case that the things that Hannah says there in this affidavit are incorrect?
No, I don't know.
You didn't file any affidavit saying the things Hannah was saying are incorrect,
No.
did you? Is there a reason why you didn't do that?
Um, just relied on my attorneys.
Mr. Galvan, the day before his deposition, 2 days ago on the 13th, filed some additional supplemental discovery responses where he goes through Hannah's affidavit and attempted to tell me what he believes to be incorrect in the affidavit. You did not do that or have not done that, have you?
I'm sorry, can you ask that question again?
Yeah, you haven't made any attempt to go through Hannah's affidavit and send a supplemental discovery response indicating what you believe to be inaccurate or incorrect about Hannah's affidavit, have you?
No, I have not.
Okay. Is there a reason why you didn't do that and your husband did?
Objection form.
I don't know.
Just a second. Is there any particular reason why you haven't filed supplemental discovery responses and your husband has, to your knowledge?
No.
All right. In general, when we were talking about the incident with Richard and Hannah, your testimony has been that you learned about it in 2007. Do you remember when in 2007?
I'm sorry, it buffered just a little bit. You said.
Okay. This incident between Richard and Hannah, you said you were told about it in 2007. Do you remember when you were told about it?
No, not when. It was around 2007, the fall or something.
Okay. Was it Richard that told you about it?
Yes.
Have you had any conversations with anyone other than Richard about that incident between Richard and Hannah?
No.
Did you ever talk to Hannah about it?
No.
Did you ever talk to Hannah's mother, Starla, about it?
No.
Did you ever talk to Hannah's father about it?
No.
Have you ever talked to anybody else about that incident?
No.
Is 100% of the information that you have about that incident then coming from Mr. Galvan?
Oh, yes.
So when you testify in this matter that you don't believe there was manipulation and seduction, that's based on what Mr. Galvan told to you, correct?
Yes,
Not anything else, correct?
that's correct.
Since 2007, I don't know if I did my time frame correctly, just to clarify. Since 2007, you haven't talked to anybody about this Hannah and Richard incident, correct?
That's correct.
Okay. Were you in the room yesterday when Mr. Galvan was talking about the events in 2007 with Hannah?
I'm sorry, ask that again. Was I in the room?
Yeah, were you in the deposition room listening when Mr. Galvan was going over Hannah's affidavit and telling me what he agreed with and didn't agree with yesterday?
Yes, but I did step out of the room a few times. So
Understood.
okay.
Were you in the room for the testimony given by your husband, which he recounted advances made by Hannah on him?
Yes.
Okay, he recounted there were 3 times that he turned Hannah away, and the 4th time he did not. With respect to the first time, he talked about Hannah making a statement about having a dragon inside her. Had you ever heard anything like that before yesterday?
Yes.
When did you first hear that type of statement from Hannah, or that Hannah said that type of statement?
About 2018.
Okay. That wasn't something that Mr. Galvan told you back in 2007?
No.
Did he tell you about the 3 times that he says he turned Hannah down back in 2007?
The 3 times that he turned her down in 2007. No, I don't recall. No.
Okay. With respect to the second time that Hannah made an advance on Mr. Galvan, his testimony yesterday, and he told her to leave or to go away, had you heard that before yesterday?
Yes.
Was that in 2018 as well?
Yes.
Incidentally, how tall is your husband?
I don't know, maybe close to 6.
6 feet?
Mm-hmm.
You know how much he weighs, give or take?
I don't know, maybe like 190 or something. I'm not sure, 185. I'm not really sure.
Okay. This is a lot better than me asking him those questions about you, which I would never do.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you.
Section sidebar.
I'm sorry, what?
Objection,
Okay.
sidebar.
I got you. Okay. With respect to the third incident that Mr. Galvan recounted yesterday, where he says he refused Hannah's advances, but that she kissed him. Had you heard the story of that incident as recounted by Mr. Galvan before yesterday?
Yes.
Was that also in 2018?
Yes.
Okay. You didn't hear that incident about that incident in 2007, did you?
No.
Okay. With respect to the fourth interaction between Mr. Galvan and Hannah that he recounted yesterday, that preceded them going to the La Quinta Hotel in Mercedes, Texas, had you heard a recounting of that incident as given by Mr. Galvan before yesterday?
Yes.
Was that in 2018 as well?
Yes.
And you didn't hear about that in 2007?
No.
Okay. Did Mr. Galvan in 2018 tell you that Hannah Lynn had pushed him down on a couch?
I'm sorry, ask that again?
Yeah, and back in 2018, when he was talking about this fourth incident, did
Mhm.
Mr. Galvan tell you that Hannah Lynn had pushed him down on a couch in his office?
Yes.
Okay. You knew Hannah Lynn back at the time as friends of the family, the Lynn family, correct?
Correct.
How tall was Hannah Lynn back then? Do you have any idea?
No.
She taller than 5.5 feet?
I don't know.
How tall are you?
About 5', 4.5.
Was Hannah Lynn as tall as you were?
Maybe.
Okay. You have any understanding how a 5'2" high school junior or senior is going to push down your 190-pound, 6-pound husband in his office? Do you have any understanding about how that could happen at all?
Yeah, I think that can happen.
Okay. So with regard to your husband's account of those three incidents, where he refused Hannah Lynn, and the fourth incident where he did not ultimately, you don't have any disagreement with anything that he says about it, correct?
That's correct.
Objection form.
Do you have anything that you disagree with from the way that he told it yesterday?
No.
But you haven't done anything to ask anybody else about it, correct?
No.
Was Hannah Lynn working in the summer at Richard's office back in 2007, to your knowledge?
Not to my knowledge.
Do you have any reason to dispute her statement that she was?
I don't recall.
Okay. Do you recall ever paying her any money for work done for any of y'all's companies?
No, I do not recall giving her any money.
Okay. Do you know if she was regularly a visitor to that office in 2007?
Yes.
Was she regularly a visitor to that office in 2007?
Yes.
Did you know that back in 2007?
Yes.
And back in 2007, what did you think she was doing coming to the office regularly?
I'm not really sure.
Had you or Mr. Galvan hired other people Hannah's age to do work for y'all's companies back around that time?
I don't really remember.
Okay. With respect to the Mr. Galvan's account of what happened at the La Quinta, you don't have any additional information one way or the other about that incident at all, do you?
No.
And back in 2007, your family and the Lyns, you were friends with that family, correct?
Yes.
And you socialized with them, correct?
Yes, just mostly at church.
Okay. And was Hannah involved in the events that you participated in with respect to the mission trips?
And the fundraising and things like that.
Yes.
Yeah, she had some. Mm-hmm.
Okay. And did she go on a mission trip with y'all in October or somewhere around that time, November 2007?
No, I don't think we went on a mission trip ever in the fall.
Okay. You don't recall going on a mission trip for Northway Bible Church sometime in the fall of 2007?
2007? No.
Okay. Yesterday, your husband, Mr. Galvan, testified that he led mission trips in 2004, 2006, 2007, and 2008. With respect to that testimony, do you know when the Northway Bible Church mission trip in 2007 did occur?
They were usually in the summer after school was out.
Okay. Do you remember where you went that year?
I personally went on one trip in 2004 to Aldana, and I did not, I don't remember where they went in 2000, well, you say 7? Maybe yes. Agua Dulce or, I don't know. I forget the names of the place.
Okay. You didn't go in 2007, correct?
No.
At the time of the 2007 mission trip that Richard went on, did you have any knowledge when he left to go on that trip about things that might have happened between him and Hannah?
No. I don't think so. Mm-mm. Okay. 2007 mission trip. I mean, 2000, there was, I mean, 2007. It was that 2007 that mission trip was before the incident.
Okay. With respect to the 2008 mission trip, did Hannah go on that trip with your husband?
Yes.
And by that point, you knew what had happened between Hannah and your husband?
Yes.
Did you voice any objection to your husband about going on that trip?
No, there was a lot of other parents, adults, and youth.
Okay. Did you have any knowledge of any contact that Mr. Galvan made with Hannah after this incident in August 2007?
I'm sorry, can you ask that again one more time?
Yeah, sure. I might have phrased it poorly. After the incident in August 2007 between Richard and Hannah, do you know whether your husband had any communications with Hannah beyond that?
No.
You don't know one way or the other, correct?
No, not to my knowledge.
Okay. He didn't share any of those with you?
No, I mean.
Okay. And you never communicated with Hannah about that incident one way or the other, correct?
No.
Okay. With respect to Hannah's discussion in her affidavit of Mr. Galvan coming to see her in San Antonio when she was a freshman in college, do you have any knowledge about that one way or the other?
I'm sorry, can you say that again?
Sure. With respect to Hannah's recounting Mr. Galvan coming to see her at Trinity University when she was a freshman in college. Do you have any knowledge about that one way or the other?
No, I don't believe it's true.
Okay. Is the basis for you saying that it's not true simply that Mr. Galvan told you it wasn't true?
Yes.
Okay, this is my brief on behalf of the cruisers to the Court of Appeals. It's Exhibit 6 to this deposition. You've never read this document at all, correct?
No.
Actually, that was y'all's brief. You've never read your own brief either, correct?
Mm-mm.
Okay. And this memorandum opinion that's now Exhibit 8 to the deposition here is the opinion of the Court of Appeals. And in this case, you've never read that, correct?
It was read to me.
Who read it to you?
My attorney, Miss Nix.
Okay. So that would have been sometime in 2020, correct?
Yes.
Okay. You understand, I'm looking in the middle of the page that I have up now, that the Court of Appeals has decided that the incident, as a matter of law, the incident between Hannah and Mr. Galvan is a matter of concern for the public. You understand that now, correct?
Well, I see where it reads that.
Yeah. I'm going to submit to you that's the opinion of the court. I'm not trying to be difficult about that at all. Do you understand that the court has found that to be the case, that is now a matter of public concern, as a matter of law? Do you understand that as we sit here today?
The statement's
I'm just asking for
I don't
your
know.
understanding, Ms. Galvan, if okay.
I mean,
Fair
I
enough.
don't agree with it, but yeah, that's what it's saying.
That's what the Court of Appeals found in this case, and that's binding upon this case. You understand that?
Objection
It's a-
form.
It's findings.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Okay. Let me ask you this question. Did you ever have an understanding that this opinion by the 13th Court of Appeals was issued in October of 2019? Did you ever have an understanding in 2019 that you and your husband had the opportunity to seek a review of this opinion and the decision in it by the Texas Supreme Court?
Objection form.
No.
You didn't know one way or the other whether you could or couldn't appeal the decision?
No. Yes.
Okay. Do you have any understanding as we sit here today why you and your husband did not seek a review by the Texas Supreme Court?
No.
I'm going to Angela, I'm gonna get up some discovery responses for her. We've been going about 50 minutes. Let's take about a 5-minute break and let me get those up so we can use those as an exhibit.
Okay. 5
All
minutes.
right,
Off the
thank
record.
you.